Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel. And I just got back from Pittsburgh last night and I had a very crazy trip back home. I'm going to talk about more of that in the tournament report video and the podcast. But yeah, I had a very crazy ride back home. It was not fun. It was a definite crazy experience, which we'll talk about more later. But I'm finally back home, and one of the first things I really wanted to do when I got back was I really wanted to take a look at the brand new cards that got revealed this past weekend while I was away in Pittsburgh, including a brand new counter to Sableye. This card is a quite literal direct Sableye counter card, which I'm super excited. You know, it's about time we finally found we finally get a counter to Sableye, as everybody loves Sableye, obviously. But I'm excited to take a look at these cards. Y'all are going to want to enjoy today's video here on the second channel. Leave a like if you're new to the channel. Subscribe down below. Help me on the road to reaching 8K subs here on the second channel. Let me know what you think of the new cards down below. There's a ton of new Ancient and Future cards that also got revealed alongside the brand new Jirachi. So we'll start off here with Rika here. Now, Rika does do the effect of look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 of them in your hand, and then shuffle the other ones at the bottom of your deck. So, I mean, honestly, it's okay. I think Colress is obviously just better, but I don't know, maybe like Colress rotates, and then Rika's going to be good when Colress rotates, and maybe that'll make a difference. But for now, I don't think Rika's like anything too special. Unfortunately, doesn't really do anything that Colress doesn't just do better. But the big news is Jirachi. Now, Jirachi is a brand new Pokemon with a complete counter to Sableye. With its ability Stellar Veil, attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon can't put damage counters on your bench Pokemon. Meaning that with a Jirachi in play, Sableye cannot use Lost Mine on your bench, which is huge. One of the things that makes Sableye so broken is that it can damage anywhere on the board, including the active and the bench. So, of course, as a single prize deck, you're constantly losing your little basic Pokemon to Sableye before they even get into play. Now, Jirachi is a great counter, and you know, I think it's about time we finally found and got a Sableye counter, because Sableye has been a menace for so long. I mean, it literally was in the deck that won Pittsburgh. I think that it's safe to say that Sableye definitely needed to be countered somehow. I mean, the best counters we had were like Espeon and Toedscruel, but then it's like Path the Peak exists, or, you know, there were other options like League Headquarters and Iona, which weren't counters to Sableye, but they were like kind of ways to kind of slow Lost Box down, but even those aren't very good. So to actually just have a flat-out counter to Sableye's attack is nice, because Manaphy doesn't stop Sableye. Manaphy stops Greninja. Now, here's the issue with Jirachi. Jirachi is a great card. It's great that we got this counter to Sableye. There's one slight issue, though. Jirachi is going to need to have a Manaphy alongside it in order for this card to be any good against Lost Box. The problem is that Lost Zone has Radiant Greninja. So what can happen is you put a Jirachi down, okay, cool, Sableye doesn't damage your bench, but then they're going to go Radiant Greninja, and then they're going to knock out your Jirachi, and then the next turn, they're going to go Sableye. You can make the argument that, okay, I'm going to just, you know, put another Jirachi in play, or get it back with Super Rod or Rescue Carrier, put it back down, and then the Greninja it again. I still think that Jirachi needs to have a Manaphy alongside it in order to be good. I mean, you're going to have to bench Manaphy anyways against the Lost Zone deck regardless, because Lost Zone will use Greninja to KO your basics. I mean, that's the thing with Lost Zone, right? Lost Zone is a very annoying deck when you're playing a single prize deck, because they have a lot of ways to KO your little basic Pokemon before they even evolve. Not even just Sableye. They have Radiant Greninja. If you don't get a Manaphy in play, they just Greninja your basics anyways. So you're going to need to play Jirachi with Manaphy so that you can bench Manaphy, bench Jirachi, and then you don't have to worry about getting Greninja'd and Sableyed. That's really good. And honestly, Jirachi is a pretty okay counter. I think that it's probably the best we could have got. I did preach the idea of like a Machoke type reprint, like a stage 1 that prevents bench damage and has the effect of Jirachi all in one. But, I mean, I'll take what we can get. I mean, it's honestly a decent card, because at least it's a counter to Sableye. And it's not shut off by Path of the Peak, which is another big deal, right? Toedscruel is a good Sableye counter in theory, but Path of the Peak is popular right now in Lost Box because of Giratina, and it's like, okay, it's not going to do anything. So, I do think that Jirachi was the best thing we could have got to counter Sableye. Yeah, it can be manipulated. I mean, I've already seen talks of, like, Avery or Glimora in Lost Zone decks so that you can bring him into the active, and then because your opponent's already got 2 benches filled up with Manaphy and Jirachi, they only have 3 bench spots available, and then if you play like Avery or Glimora, you can even limit their bench even more so that their bench is less full. So Jirachi isn't the best, like, perfect albeit counter, but it is honestly one of the best things we could have got. It's a basic. You can just bench it immediately and then stop Sableye. So it is nice, and it's, you know, about time we got ourselves a Sableye counter. I was very happy to see that when the card got revealed. We got Medical Energy here. Special Energy provides colorless energy only. When you attach this card from your hand to one of your Pokemon, heal 30 from that Pokemon. I mean, I don't know how good this card really is. I don't think it's gonna like be good in Lugia or anything. So probably just like a mid card. I don't think that this card is very good, unfortunately. Next up, we got big reveals here. Ancient Roar, Future Flash, officially revealed, including some brand new EXs. Quite a few. Honestly, this reveal itself could have been its own video, but they revealed these like back-to-back, Jirachi, and then all these like new Raging Paradox Rift Surf cards. So a lot of things to look at here. I don't even think I said the set name right, I know. But Ancient Roar, yeah, Paradox Rift, right, our November set. So starting these off here, we have Iron Hands EX. Now, Iron Hands EX is a Lightning-type basic, so keep that in mind when playing this card. It does work in Miraidon, and that's what it's going to be good in. It does have the attack Strength Amplifier, which does require 4 energy, but does 120 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from its attack, take an additional prize. This is a big buff to Lightning decks. You can build this thing up with like Flaffy and Electric Generator, and if you're playing against specifically Lost Zone decks, or really any, like, basic heavy deck. I mean, any basic deck, obviously. Like, any of the X's that evolve. But specifically Lost Boxes where, this thing maybe comes to mind. You KO a Comfy, KO a Cram, KO, Greninja, a Sableye. You take 2 prizes for knocking them out. It's like Stoutland all over again. Now, this card is actually very bulky. It does have 230 HP, which is very tanky. And it's got Fighting Weakness, which, I mean, Lost Zone doesn't really play a Fighting type. I mean, even against decks like Gardevoir, I mean, you're knocking out Curlias, you're knocking out Ralts, you're knocking out the Celebration's Mew, you're immediately taking 2 prizes. So while Miraidon won, they won a tournament in Japan and won a Champions League and almost won Pittsburgh back-to-back. Now Miraidon's getting even stronger with Iron Hands. Yeah, very strong card. We've seen these effects before on like Guzzlord and Lugia EX where you can take an extra prize, but now we just have like a new version, and the fact that it's a Lightning type means that it just put in Miraidon, and Miraidon just got infinitely better. So pretty crazy card. Not to mention there's other future cards that can be put on this card, like the future mechanic. I'm not talking about like future like in reality. I'm talking about like the future mechanic that got added. There's other like future tools and stuff you can put onto the Iron Hands. Next up is Slitherwing here. Another one here. It's a fighting type. Trample. Discard 1 card from the top of your opponent's deck, and then you got Billowing Burn doing 120 for 2 fighting. Does 90 to itself. Burns the opponent's active. Nothing too crazy there. We do have Sandy Shocks EX. Sandy Shocks is a fighting type, so another fighting Pokemon that can deal with the likes of Miraidon, Iron Hands, or Arceus. It's got the ability Magnetic Attraction. This ability can be used once during your turn if your opponent has 4 or fewer prizes remaining. Attach a basic fight energy from discard pile to this Pokemon. So it's kind of like Galarian Moltres, right, with Dire Flame Wings, where you can put an energy from discard onto the Pokemon. The problem is you can only use this ability after your opponent has taken 2 prize cards. But that's not that big of a deal. Its attack, Ground Spark, does do 200 damage, and then it can attack during your next turn. Probably going to be good with, like, Energy Switch. I mean, fighting has been lacking, some good cards for a while. And then we got Koraidon, Tinglu, stuff like that. But having a card like this will be nice for fighting decks, too. So, yeah, it's nice. It's basically just a fighting Galarian Moltres V, except that it doesn't work on the first turn, that you can play the Moltres down. And you have to wait in order for the ability to do anything because of the effect. Next up, we got Iron Jugulus, which I wish was, super good, because bro, it's literally just that's Hydreigon. Like it's a Hydreigon, bro. I wish this card was broken. Sadly, I don't know how good this card really is. Got the attack Homing Heads, which does 50 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon that already have damage on them. Not bad. I think Manaphy does block this, so I mean it's not great because Manaphy blocks it. It is a cool effect though, nonetheless. And then we got Baryon Beam, which does 150 for 5 energy, but if this Pokemon has a Future Boost Energy on it, or Future Boost Energy Capsule, attached, this attack costs 3 colorless energy instead of 4. But you're only doing 150 damage, so you're barely doing any damage anyways, right? So, I don't know. I wish this card was, like, super good. I mean, Homing Heads maybe could be good. The effect is nice. That's a strong spread attack. We don't really have, like, a super strong spread attack in the game right now, to be honest. So, it is nice to have Homing Heads, I guess. That might actually be good. But I don't know. I want, this is obviously Hydreigon. I like it when Hydreigon-esque cards are good because, it's like the mascot on the channel. So, we got Future Booster Energy Capsule. The future Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat, and the attacks it uses do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, this is a broken card. I mean, bro, it only works on the future Pokemon, but this card is insane because effectively what it does is it's two super strong tools in one. It's Floatstone and Muscle Band in one card, both of which were extremely powerful cards when they were a thing way back in the day. So this card is kind of insane. I mean, being able to give that Pokemon a free retreat cost and do 20 more damage is ridiculous. That's crazy how they just combined two very strong tools together. And that's kind of insane. But yeah, it's definitely a good card. I mean, being able to give that, for a treat. I mean, we've been preaching that, hey, Floatstone should get reprinted. The Muscle Band effect is also pretty cool. But yeah, really strong tool card. I mean, yeah, this is a great tool for Future. Future's already looking pretty darn good right now because of this tool card. So Future just kind of gets a big buff. I mean, for whatever reason, this tool card got printed. And yeah, being able to do 2 effects in one is kind of crazy, not going to lie. I think those were all the... No, there is a mix of Ancient and Future. So, Iron Hand's the Future. So, Iron Hands can play the Future Booster Capsule and do 140 damage. And it has a full retreat, but now it's going to be a free retreat with this tool on. So, that's crazy, man. We got Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. The Ancient Pokemon's card statue gets plus 60 HP and recovers all special conditions. It can't be affected by any special conditions. So, another really strong tool card. I mean, it's not as good as... I think Future Booster Energy is just better, obviously. But the Ancient one is not bad. I mean, plus 60 HP is a lot. Obviously, you can remove this tool card with, like, Lost Vacuum or something. But being able to get plus 60 HP is not bad at all. I mean, it's better than Bravery Charm, which is already a pretty good card right now in our format. So having plus 60 HP on the Ancient Pokemon is good. There's other Ancient Pokemon out there, but Sandy Shocks, I mean, it's got 280 HP effectively with this tool on. So, really cool. Then we got Professor Sawdust's Determination. Now, Ancient Pokemon maybe have the best new supporter card. Choose up to 2 of your Ancient Pokemon and attach 1 basic energy from your discard pile to each of them, and then draw 3 cards. So, not only is it going to accelerate energy to 2 Pokemon, but it also draws 3 cards. That is crazy. This supporter card is kind of cracked. It's like Melanie on steroids almost. Like, it's pretty crazy. Again, it is limited to only Ancient Pokemon. It's not like you can play this in any deck, obviously. But still, I mean, that's a good buff for Ancient Pokemon. I mean, Ancient Pokemon, they got the weaker tool, but they got the better supporter. I mean, that's a crazy supporter. I mean, it's a draw card, energy acceleration, gets 2 Pokemon powered up. Not just 1, but 2, which is just kind of crazy. So, very, very strong supporter card. Pokemon were not holding back when they were printing the effects of these Ancient Future cards. Because, man, these effects are kind of nuts. Then we got Earth Vessel, another really powerful card. You must discard a card from your hand in order to use this card. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energies, reveal them, put them in your hand. So, this is literally like Professor's Letter. You know the discard a card, but this is a universal card. This is a universal card. You can play this in any deck. You don't have to play Earth Vessel specifically in an Ancient deck. I mean, you probably want to for, whatever reason, but you can use this in any deck, like Xianpao, Palkia, V-Star. Any deck that needs energy cards in their hand can play this. And it discards a card from your hand, which can be good. There are times where discarding a card from your hand isn't a terrible thing, and being able to get 2 energy out of your deck is insane. This is Professor's Letter, basically. Professor's Letter got just 2 energy out of your deck, but now we have, kind of a reprint of it. And again, a universal Ancient card that lets you do that is pretty bonkers. This card is pretty darn good. I can't lie. Definitely a very strong card. Probably something you're definitely going to want to pick up when getting the new set. Even if you're not building Ancient and Future decks, you still probably want to pick this up due to how, universally good it is. Next, we got the Future supporter card here. Put 1 of your Pokemon in your hand, discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. So, pretty good. And it's another universal card. It doesn't specifically limit Future Pokemon, so it's not like Professor Turo's scenario only gets back Future Pokemon. It gets back any type of Pokemon. So, that's also kind of crazy. I mean, it does discard all cards attached to it, but that's pretty insane. I mean, this is like Penny, but for any Pokemon, man, that's pretty good. That's a really strong supporter card. I'm not really a big fan of these, like, heal supporter cards, especially in a format where there's Pokemon with, like, monstrous HP. But, whatever. Pokemon printed it. We're going to have to deal with another, couple years of, a card that can instantly heal a Pokemon fully in the format. So it's just going to be what it is. I mean, Cheryl is a thing, obviously, but Cheryl is a balanced card. I mean, this is like basically you just pick the Pokemon up, put it back in your hand. It's like, okay, all right, if you say so. Yeah, pretty powerful card. Next up, we got Techno Radar here, another future card. You must discard a card from your hand in order to use this card. Search your deck for up to 2 future Pokemon, reveal them, and put them in your hand. So that's a pretty good card for future decks. I mean, bro, being able to get 2 future Pokemon out is kind of nuts. Now, you do have to discard a card from your hand, but like, Quick Ball, you don't mind doing that because you get a Pokemon out. In this case, you get 2 Pokemon. So it's like a jacked up Quick Ball for future Pokemon. But yeah, these future cards and ancient cards that they printed, dude, are ridiculously broken. Crazy. Like, these cards are, like, actually just broken. It's crazy how good they are. They're, super powerful effects of cards that usually would have maybe been a bit more toned down before, but they're just even, just powerful things. I mean, it's crazy. Techno Radar's nuts, bro. We got another supporter with Mela. You can only play this card if your Pokemon are knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Attach 1 base fire energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you do, draw cards, you have 6 in your hand. So, nice buff to fire decks. I mean, fire has kind of been on the kind of lackluster train really ever since, Welder left the format. But now we got this new, supporter card that gives fire Pokemon a bit of energy acceleration, and with a very powerful effect, too. I mean, being able to drop the 6 cards in your hand means that, instead of drawing, 3 cards, we've seen previously, you can potentially draw, 4 to 5 cards. So, pretty strong card for sure. Next up, we got Tulip. Put up the 4 in any combination of Psychic Pokemon and basic Psychic Energy from your discard pile back into your hand. So, pretty crazy card. Kind of like playing Clara and Gardevoir. This kind of serves purpose to playing Clara and Gardevoir in a way where you can put back 2 Psychic Energy and 2 Psychic Pokemon. I don't know if Psychic Pokemon really needed this buff, to be honest, because Psychic types are probably the best type right now in the game, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm not sure this is that good, to be honest. I could be wrong. I don't think Tulip is that good. I don't think Gardevoir is going to play Tulip, to be honest with you, when Super Rod is just probably better. But you know what? Psychic Pokemon got a new supporter that might be pretty good with them. I mean, and for context here on Poke Beach, they do have the other previous future and ancient cards we looked at before listed here that obviously can be good with these cards we just looked at. Like Roaring Moon being an ancient Pokemon can play that capsule card, giving it 290 HP, making it very bulky. So you definitely got some really cool things. Iron Valiant can play that supporter that gives it that free retreat pivot, which is really good with his ability Tachyon bits when it moves from the active. From the bench to the active, you can put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So, pretty crazy stuff. Ancient Future mechanics are pretty broken, not going to lie. Sada's Determination is also pretty insane for Ancient decks. So, just some really, really powerful cards here got revealed. And, I mean, it's crazy. You would think that the Jirachi was, the biggest deal. But all these new cards that got revealed obviously could overshine Jirachi's, potential. That's crazy to me. Jirachi gets revealed, oh my god, Sableye counter, and then the next day they reveal all these really crazy new cards. I don't know, it's just kind of crazy how that happened. We got a few new cards here. We got Woshan, a single prize Woshan. Leaf Gathering, attach up to 2 basic grass energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and then you got Greedy Bind doing 140 damage, and the defending Pokemon, can't retreat. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attacks cost 2 colors more. I mean, it's a cool attacker. You could put it in a Cherim deck. It doesn't need 4 energy, though. It's a little bit steep, but, yeah, could be played in, a Cherim deck, I guess. It can't one-shot Charizard, though, which is a problem, but it does also make Charizard, harder to play because it needs 2 more energy. We got Shiyu. You can probably guess all these Pokemon what they are. Flare Gathering, same thing, putting 2 fires, and then you got Jealous Fire for 2 fire energy, does 50 damage, and if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, does 90 more damage. So 140 damage if something gets knocked out. I mean, it might be okay, in an Armor Rouge deck. Not terrible. And we got a single prize Xianpao now, which, again, same attack, Snow Gathering, getting 2 waters from your discard in 20 your Pokemon. And then it's got Wrathblade that just does 130 damage, discard 2 energy from his Pokemon. Yeah, 130, discard 2 energy. Yeah, it's not that good. I don't think this card is going to see play even in, Xianpao Baxcalibur, unfortunately. We got Ting Lu now, single prize Ting Lu with 140 HP. Saiyan Gathering, yeah, I get 2 basic fried energy from discard pile to one of your Pokemon. And then Proud Impact doing 220 damage for 3 fighting energy. And then if this Pokemon has 4 more damage counters on it, this attack does nothing. So as long as Ting Lu doesn't have damage on it, you can do 220 damage for 3 energy. Pretty powerful card. I can't lie. This is actually not a bad card at all. 220 damage is a pretty good number to hit. Obviously not going to have basic EXs and Vs. Not bad. We got some new technical machines, and oh boy, are these technical machines good. First off, we got this one here, Devolution. You may attach, Devolution. Where's the text for it? What the heck? There's no text for the Devolution. Hold on. Let me get that. All right, I had to go to Twitter to find the translation for these because I don't know why they weren't on Poke Beach. But anyways, here we go. We got TM Devolution. This one is very, very powerful. So what it does, you remove 1 evolution card from each of your opponent's evolved Pokemon to de-evolve them and put those cards in your opponent's hand. Very, very crazy effect. Now, this does knock out evolving EXs like Gardevoir and Charizard. So if you put 80 damage on a, Gardevoir, and then you play this attack with the tool card here, de-evolve the Gardevoir EX, it goes into Curlia. Because there's 80 damage on it, the Curlia gets knocked out and you take a prize. You don't get 2 prizes, but you do knock out this Pokemon. And it de-evolves up to, all of your opponent's Pokemon in play that you want. So you can set up multiple, evolutions to be KO'd with the effect of this card. That's pretty crazy. Like, put 7 damage on Curlia, put 8 on Gardevoir, put, 70, damage on Charizard EX, de-evolve it, and then you knock it out. The EX would go back in their hand, but you would de-evolve them and knock out the basic below it. So you'd get a prize for knocking them out, removing that, evolving the EX from play immediately, which is just kind of a crazy effect. And in a format here where evolving Pokemon are very popular, that is a very strong effect to have. Now, it is a one-time tool. You do the discard at the end of your turn, but very, very strong. I mean, even something like Lost Box could play it. Well, Lost Box just got the Jirachi. You could still use this tool against those, evolving decks, and, Cram, Sableye, set up damage around the board on all those evolving Pokemon, and then out of nowhere, come in with a de-evolution attack and de-evolve everything and take, like, a bunch of prizes at once. Pretty crazy stuff. And, of course, we got the TM Evolution. For each of up to 2 of your bench Pokemon, search deck for a card that evolves that Pokemon and put it, onto that Pokemon to evolve it. So, not a bad, evolution effect. I mean, being able to evolve Pokemon is nice. It's only going to be, like, the stage 1s and stuff, not like the stage 2s or anything. Immediately you can, get a stage 2 down if there's a stage 1, but it's a decent effect. Obviously, Devolution is better. I don't know how effective Evolution will be, but it is decent nonetheless. It's not the worst card ever. You get a one-time use setup because you have to discard at the end of your turn, but being able to evolve your Pokemon is always good, don't get me wrong. And in a slower setup deck, this definitely isn't terrible at all. But de-evolution 100% is the better one. I mean, this is just a very strong tool in a format where evolving EXs are becoming a lot more common. But yeah, there you have it. All of the new cards that got revealed. Some pretty crazy new stuff. Obviously, I think Jirachi is maybe the highlight, but I don't know. I feel like Jirachi is now overshadowed by the entire, new Ancient Future cards that got revealed. All these broken new cards may overshadow Jirachi. But nonetheless, pretty cool new cards, and I am excited to see what else gets revealed in the coming weeks leading up to this new set release over in Japan. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Let me know down below, again, what you think of the new Jirachi and all the new Ancient and Future cards that got revealed. That'll be it for me on the second channel. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in another video. Bye-bye.